can't tell you how excited I am to see you both here. The movie's getting rave reviews. People cannot stop talking about your performance. You have fans waiting outside this building. How much of a rock star do you feel like right now?
I don't know. I'm still just trying to figure out what day it is.
Yeah.
I probably am sleeping as much as one of them. So, yeah.
This does feel really good, though. I know how much work you put into this. That you're playing an icon, but you must feel a bit relieved when you get so much support, not from, just Elvis's family, but all the fans.
Yeah. I mean, you never know how any creative endeavor is going to turn out. And so we never knew what the outcome was going to be, but you do your best every day. And suddenly here are these moments of truth, like when Priscilla saw the film for the first time, or even sitting down in Cannes, and seeing her there and just knowing we were about to watch the film together. And so there's these pivotal moments for me that just make me so happy.
That's so exciting. I have to tell you, anytime there's a new Baz Lurhman film come out, I'm like, I'm seeing it. I'm such a huge fan of yours. Oh, yes. And you did such a great job with this. How did you know Austin was the one? I mean, obviously, he's the man for the job, but how'd you know that, when he walked in, you were like, that's Elvis?
I mean, there's a story out there now, and it's true. We can speak more openly about it, but it was not a normal casting process. I got this videotape, this young guy. He was in a bathrobe. We laugh because in my mind, I get a bit, you see my movies, they get a bit exaggerated. He was at a white piano, but it was not white. Was not white?
No. This is a video you sent in?
Yeah.
Of you in a robe?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah. He was playing Unchained Melody, which is the final time Elvis sings in a movie. He's crying up to the heavens. And it didn't feel audition-y. It didn't feel like someone saying, hey, look what I can do. And I later find out what it is, and probably Osh should tell the story, but he'd had a terrible emotional experience, and he just put it into this piece of tape. Now, that caught my attention. It's true I got a call from Denzel Washington as Osh was coming in to say, and who I do not know, Denzel Washington, and he said, look, I've rung you to tell you you're about to meet a young actor whose work ethic is like no other, which turned out to be true. Oz came in, he was already down Elvis Presley Boulevard a bit in terms of character and voice. I said at that stage, look, I pretty much need you to sing the young Elvis. How do you think you go with that? And honestly, that went so well that recently I've had to put a costume test out on TikTok just to show people him unplugged and unmiked, just singing. But for me, from that moment, it wasn't like, boom, you're the guy. I don't think I ever really thought about it. I just kept putting him through his paces and really building a structure around him to flourish what he'd already brought in. He'd already brought in a level of characterization and journey towards the soul of Elvis that I just helped him continue.
That is a good story. Denzel Washington, okay. That's amazing. What's it like hearing that?
Did you tell Denzel to ring me?
No. The thing is, I just said this before. It's the thing. Denzel's my hero, and I still can't believe he knows my name. So the fact that he would call on my behalf, it just means the world to me.
Okay, so from the voice, the moves, the singing, what did you work the hardest on to perfect?
That's really hard to quantify because it's how it all fits together. And that the fact that they're very specific things, and some things are very technical. I spent hours with my movement coach, Polly Bennett, who was just a rock to me during this whole process. Baz and I had so many moments where we would just talk through moments of Elvis's life, and it helps you just put it into context. And I had a number of different dialect coaches that I worked with, and singing coaches, and a karate instructor, and I had these days structured out for a year and a half. But though I had 6 months during COVID, which was probably the pivotal moment for me, as far as suddenly nobody's knocking at my door. Nobody's telling me you have to be at this meeting at this time. And this was 6 months where I just could follow my curiosity every day. And that's really when it felt like everything began to settle.
I know you're not huge on social media, but you know by now everyone's obsessed with your Elvis accent. Like, people can't get enough. Who in your family had the best reaction the first time they heard that Elvis accent?
I think, you know, it's probably my sister when I would call her on the phone and she would hear me talking. My chair is so squeaky.
I wasn't sure if it was me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I figured out a different way of sitting on the seat.
No, that's
yeah,
good.
probably my sister. Yeah.
And would she be someone that you would call to just test things out, or just it was nice to get that
No,
kind
it's
of
just when I would call her and see how she was doing and stuff. It happened to be sort of the voice that I was speaking in.
Is she like, is this you or is this Elvis?
Yeah, it's that funny thing when you're practicing. I mean, I wouldn't always work with this way, but with Elvis, you run the risk of being a caricature the whole time. There's so many traps that you can fall into. So for me, I doubled down on anything that I could do that made it feel like this is life. This is, you know, a man who wakes up in the morning and brushes his teeth and goes through the world and has to eat breakfast and all those little mundane things. So for me, it was kind of a process of seeing what that feels like in life, you know. So I mean, it seems ridiculous. Every time you talk about acting, you run the risk of sounding incredibly pretentious and self-important. So I'm always kind of like embarrassed talking about it. But
not after this performance.
You know,
you can literally say anything you want after this performance. Seriously, because everyone just wants to know how you did it, because you're so freaking good in it.
Yeah.
Seriously. A Baz Lurhman film is not complete without an amazing soundtrack. Yeah. Obviously, Elvis, but you have such amazing artists.
Look, I do. I have a lot of, you see a lot of Austin singing Elvis. You hear a lot of real Elvis. And then to translate some of the feelings for a younger audience, we've got great artists from, you know, Eminem dropped a track yesterday. Maneskin dropped a track last night. You know, Doja Cat obviously translating the worlds of Hound Dog. I tell you something about the music. If you like my films and you said you like them,
I do.
You know I make them for the movies.
Yes.
I made them to go out into a cinema and be with a crowd. And what's been really gratifying for me, and I'm not an easy person to go, oh, I'm so happy, but from the moment we screened it in Cannes and Alton Mason came on at Little Richard, people started applauding at the performances, right through to the Elvis performances, as if they were at a rock show. And I'm noticing people say to me, I felt like I actually experienced being in a live rock show with Elvis performing and wanting to emote and applaud and get into it. And I think that's exciting because we even have that on the soundtrack. We have some classic Elvis performing in the Vegas show, you know? So there's such a variety of music in the whole piece.
Yeah, it was so impressive seeing all the artists contributing to the soundtrack. Casey Musgraves, too.
Tame Impala.
Came Out Falling in Love. Oh, yes. So good.
Stevie Nicks. The list is long.
Like, come on. Each name more impressive than the other. Do you have a favorite Elvis song?
I answer it differently every time.
Ah, okay. So what's one today?
Yeah, I mean, earlier I said American Trilogy.
Well, that's good.
I love that song so much. But then as we were on the drive over here, I thought of If I Can Dream and just what that song means and how powerful that is. And it's hard to choose just one.
I know. It's like picking your favorite kid. Everyone has one, though. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't have kids. I have no idea. Can we talk?
I do, and you never say that.
No, you're not supposed to say that, right?
No, you say, I love you.
I feel like my mom maybe had favorites.
I love you equally, but differently.
Yeah, I heard that a lot. I heard that a lot growing up. Can we talk Tom Hanks? Unrecognizable.
Yeah.
So good in this role. And I've seen him with you on red carpets. It's almost like he's like almost looking after you, or he seems a bit protective in like such a kind of fatherly way. Did you feel that support on set?
Absolutely, I did. He's the greatest. He's so kind and he's been so he's just such a great mentor. You know, he's been doing it for so long and he still works so hard and he's excited by it and yeah, he's just such a lovely person.
He never goes to his trailer on set.
No.
Most actors just go back to their trailer. Yeah. You know, never. He sits on set, reads a paper, talks a lot with Austin. Yeah. I've never actually had it where two actors sit around while we're doing resets and stuff like that, talking in costume. Like, hates going back to the trailer. I saw one night, we were in a casino scene, and Tom, I turned around, and he was playing craps with the extras on a table.
Oh my God.
Like seriously, he was gambling with them, you know.
So the rumors are true. He's one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. Is basically what
but
you're
he's
saying.
also a leader. Like he brings leadership energy. We had a discussion the other night when we all went out to dinner. He said, like, I mean, he likes people. You know, he does. He's not one of these guys want to hide under a thing of, ooh, I'm Tom Hanks. You know, he likes to be out amongst it. To the degree he can do it without, you know, there being trouble.
Yeah. Well, guys, such a pleasure getting to talk to you. I wore my fancy blazer suit for you.
Pink suit.
Right? I got you. I got you. Thanks so much, guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.